Have you ever been on a sales call where the seller hits you with, just give me your offer, do your research and get back to me? I get calls on this all the time. It can be really frustrating and honestly a little bit demeaning. And so today, what I'm going to be covering is why that's happening and how to increase your status on your sales calls so that doesn't happen to you anymore. If you are brand new to this channel, all we do here is we teach individual wholesalers how to get to $100,000 per month. And from there, how to train your reps to hit 100K a month each. So that way you can run a multiple seven-figure business. If you're already subscribed, welcome back. As always, I have another one that's going to help you crush it in today's market. So today we're going to be talking about status framing. The first thing to understand is the psychology around status framing. And it's pretty simple. Whenever the seller feels like you have a problem that they can solve, they have higher status. And when the seller feels like they have a problem that you can solve, you have higher status. Pretty simple. It's as simple as that. Now that all starts with the beginning of the call. Now, one of the most common mistakes that I see is when new wholesalers or even some experienced ones start their calls, they say things like, hey, I wanted to give you a call. I am interested in your property, or I wanted to give you an offer, right? All things I want to do this, which naturally implies that you have a problem that they can solve. You have a lack of properties. They have a property to be able to sell. So they immediately put themselves in the seat that, okay, this person really wants my property. I'm interested in making you an offer. First thing the seller says is, oh, what's your offer? We are triggering these things in the seller's brain. They're not just saying them at random. Instead of saying things like, I am interested, I wanted to give you a call, I'm calling you because, or announcing yourself like you're a narrator. Hey, I'm just giving you a call today because we are going to flip the script. We're going to say, hey, it looks like you filled out a form about possibly selling a house on 123 Main Street. Yeah, I know. I'm sure you saw a bunch of ads. What caused you to want to look into this further? Now, let's say it was a cold call. We're going to say, hey, it looks like you spoke to Sarah on our team about possibly selling a home on 123 Main Street. I'm sure you've gotten a bunch of calls. I know we called you out of the blue, but what caused you to want to have another conversation about this? What caused you? That way they can start telling you about their problems and you can say, okay, cool. That makes sense how we can help. That's the first step. Another thing that sales reps do, and they do this wrong inside the first couple of seconds, is they get defensive when the seller has an objection. I hear this a lot where a seller will say, well, just go do your research and get back to me, or I'm not sure I'm interested. And they start getting this defensive tone. But if you look at anybody that has a lot of confidence, I look at Matthew McConaughey, for example. He always talks cool, calm, and collected. And when you're talking to your sellers, you need to remain cool, calm, and collected. When you get defensive or you change your tonality, you change your state by something that they say, what they think is, boom, I got that person. I can control their emotions. Therefore, I have higher status. Think about it like this. If your kid does something and you show frustration, they see that they got a reaction out of you. They see they have some sort of control over your emotion. Whereas if they do the exact same thing and you can still discipline them, but you don't react negatively, you say, hey, we don't do that. You're not allowed to do that. And because of that, you're going to have to go do X, Y, Z. Maybe you put them in timeout or however you discipline your kids. When you show them that you have a reaction, they see that they have some level of control over you, which in turn decreases your status. So if the seller hits you with, why don't you just go do your research and get back to me? And you go, well, I'm trying to do my research, but you're not answering any of my questions. You get frustrated like that. Of course, you are going to crush your status. But when you say, yeah, that's not a problem. And honestly, I don't even know if it makes sense for me to do research yet. That's why I'm calling. I would need to know just a little bit more about the condition, some of the things that we can't see online. Like, for example, when you would want to sell the property, just to see if we could do any good for you. Are you with me there? And I stay cool, calm, and collected. That's one of the first things that you can do to increase your status on the call. Now, the next thing is, as you are asking them questions, you're slowly planting seeds that you are the one that's helping them. For example, when you say, well, what caused you to want to go this route versus just listing it on the market? They say, well, I really don't want to have to deal with all the showings. You go, well, look, that makes sense how we might be able to help you. It's just a slow little subtle status frame that you can implement in there. Yeah, well, look, that makes sense how we could help you. If they say, oh, well, I don't want to deal with all the repairs. Gotcha. I mean, it's really common why people reach out to us. Again, I am in the status seat. Yeah, we help a lot of people with that. I put myself in the status seat, in the seat of higher status, that we help a bunch of other people. Let's say that the prospect is trying to rush you off the phone. Hey, is this going to take a long time? I'm super busy. You might have to call me back. Oh man, I'm glad you said that because I'm actually packed as well. I've got 3 other appointments that I need to get to right after this. We can actually keep this really quick. That would help me money as well. Another way that you can increase your status, right? Now, where this comes up at the end of your call is sometimes the sellers start to just tell you, hey, I've got other offers, or whoever the best offer is, we're going to go with that person. They start to kind of commoditize you. And if you don't know what commoditize means, it's like if they are treating you like you are something that is easily replaceable. That would be the best way that I could explain that without ever thinking about that definition. They're making you feel like you're easily replaceable. And so if you have a seller that's just kind of stringing you along, hey, I'm still waiting. A couple offers are going to come in today. I'm just waiting. You have to be able to increase your status. You have to say, hey, look, well, we did give you that offer based on the date that we gave you that offer. We're not going to hold on to this forever. We've got a couple of other properties that we are considering buying. If you don't want to sell right now, that's not a problem. We can certainly just go buy other properties. But if you do, let me know what's holding you back, and I might be able to just help walk you through those concerns. See how I am in the status seat. I am helping them instead of them helping me. And so this happens a lot when you get those sellers that are like, people call them tire draggers. I don't believe that. I believe that you just don't know how to build urgency, but people call them these tire kickers, people that are, just dragging the process along. And so you need to be able to step in, put your foot down and say, hey, look, the market changes every single day. One, we do have other properties that we are interested in pulling the trigger on. We might just move forward with those. Completely up to you. If you have some other concerns though that we can help you with, I'm happy to walk you through those. So I'm not doing it from a place of, hey, this is a sleazy sales technique, or hey, I'm getting super defensive that you're not taking my offer. I'm just saying, hey, if it looks like something we can help with, I'll walk you through any of your concerns. And if not, no big deal. This comes in handy when you are objection handling, keeping your status high by showing them that you are willing to walk away. So when the seller is kind of on the fence about two options, I'll say, hey, look, that's a perfectly reasonable concern. You could be better off just going that other option just to see if it makes sense for us to look into this any further. What was the main reason you reached out to us in the first place? Now they're going to start selling themselves as to why they want to work with us. So there's a couple of different spots that this will come up. At the beginning of the call, this is most often where newer reps will kill their status. In the middle of the call, this is your chance to implement those little status frames inside of your sales conversations to help increase your status. And at the end of the call, it's when you're going through objection handling, you need to know when you're allowed to walk away. And honestly, we're not ever walking away. We're just using that status frame to help build a little bit more urgency, break a little bit of that resistance. So that way they tell us our real concern. And this is literally just one of the things that we teach our advanced inner circle students. We go over status framing, reframing, identity framing. We teach you advanced techniques that are not taught anywhere else. And of course, I'm not going to give all those away for free on YouTube. So if you want more advanced training, I'm going to drop a link in the description below for you to be able to apply for one of our advanced inner circle programs where we go in depth on topics like this every single day. We allow you to role play. We have objection handling training, call reviews, and much, much more. If you guys aren't already subscribed, make sure you subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next video. Bye, everybody.